I've got a new box under my arm with Tomb Kings and Men of Bretonia. So let's set the tone, listening to the one and only. We've got to that old world charm.
A silent king, if you will, Adam.
Oh, geez, wrong game, wrong IP.
Oh, yeah, hey, sorry.
Same IP, sorry, same IP, wrong game.
Thank you for calling me a king, though. I really appreciate that. I also, I did a whole episode last week without swearing, so I figured for Dickie's sake, I would, right from the get-go, just start dropping the F-bombs.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We really appreciate that. I'm sure Dickie does too. And Danny's here as well. You've already heard his voice. He's singing.
Yeah, sorry.
He's singing from the stands, being our hecklers. And we are here to do an episode that we told people we were going to do ages ago, and we didn't get around to doing it because things happened, life happens, and we started getting other Arcane Journals. But we are circling back to one of the first Arcane Journals that was released, Tomb Kings. And it's a poignant time to talk about Tomb Kings because I think they're a problem. And more than us just giving you the man reads book top level replay bang by bang thing that we do, in part 2, we're going to be seriously talking about how to beat these guys because they seem to be the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers whilst also being like top 3 army in the game. If not, in my opinion, the top army in the game, at least mortuary cults when we get to it. But boys, any hot takes above and beyond mine?
No, I think you nailed it, buddy.
Yeah, Adam, I think you're right. I was, when you said that they were a problem initially, like my hackles raised, right? And but that's not true. Like, you're right. I think that there is a balance issue here.
I do think there is, and we'll get to it when we get to it. And when those things come up, we'll definitely talk about it. But we're going to be reading this thing out pretty much line for line as we do. And then over in part 2, we're going to answer page questions. And of course, we're going to talk about what we can do to beat and play as Tomb Kings in the current game. If you want to join us over there, that's Old World Charm over on Patreon. Hope to see you there in our beautiful, lovely Discord. And gentlemen, we've been playing some games. We're moving and shaking. I watched some lovely Beastman action versus this said Arcane Journal just a day gone by, and I hear it was a draw. You absolute shitheads. Pathetic. Draws help no one.
Oh, look, Adam, I have to say this. It was mostly a draw due to my stupendous ability to dispel magic.
I saw that.
Yeah, which, without breaking any NDAs, the new book is really good at doing.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Before we break any other NDAs, let's jump in. Anyone following along at home, we're going to be starting this review on page 30 of the Tomb Kings Arcane Journal. This is the Royal Host. So the army composition list is a little different, but Danny, you willing to break this down for us?
Yeah, sure. So you have to take normal 50% characters, 1+ Tomb King or Tomb Prince. You have to have one. Which is just like the Grand Army, I'm pretty sure. No, they don't have to. But you have to take one Tomb King here, right? And then you are limited to unlimited heroes of just Mortuary Priests and Royal Heralds.
So level 2s.
Yeah, so you're maxed out at level 2, more or less. And you have to take 33% core, which includes 1+ unit of Skeleton Chariots, 0 to 1 unit of Tomb Guard or Tomb Guard Chariots, which is a new unit for this particular Army of Infamy. As maybe taken as a core choice. And then you can take unlimited amounts of skeleton archers, skeleton infantry cohorts, which are another new unit, and also skeleton cavalry cohorts, which is a third new unit for this book. Do you want to talk about each section, or do you just want me to go through the sections?
No, just give us the roundup.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So specials 50. You can take Tomb Guard skeleton skirmishers, skeleton horse archers, Shabti, Necropolis Knights, or Tomb Guard chariots. If you haven't already taken them in core. And then 0 to 2 Tomb Scorpions per 1,000 points. And 0 to 2 Kemerian War Sphinxes per 1,000 points. And then you can take up to 25% in rare, which is 0 to 2 Screaming Skull Catapults per 1,000 points. So you can have a Royal Herald as your BSB. So there's no new BSB here.
I love the 0 to 2 scorpions. Just still making it's the royal host, and it's still 0 to 2 scorps per 1,000 points, which is not limiting at all. It's not actually a limit. It might as well be 0 to 100. And it's so cute. You can have 25 points to your rare. Could be 4 screaming skull catapults if you really wanted to. Oh boy, but nothing else.
Don't do it though.
No, I find the rare slot is just like, why even print that? Why even print there to be a rare slot in this Army of Infamy? Peter, any takes on that composition list?
I mean, your first take is always going to be we're missing out on level forecasters, which is like a really big deal for most armies of infamy, and like the lack of the Necrosphinx also pretty huge. Like it's another one of like the top units in the book. But yeah, like some of these special units, particularly the cohorts, they do add a lot of really interesting gameplay to the army.
Absolutely. All right, into the Royal Host special rules. Grind them down is the first one. While in the general's command range, friendly models whose troop type is chariot may reroll a dice when rolling to determine the number of impact hits that they cause. This is a good rule because, of course, you're only wielding light chariots, and so they're very hit and miss on whether they do anything at all. One game in particular I played against Peter, I had a unit of like 4 chariots just like impact hit their way through a full unit of Forsaken. Shouldn't have been a thing. Legitimately shouldn't have happened. But they can just pop up and do some interesting stuff at times. Yep. Danny Baby, what's the next one?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at Tomb Guard chariots. Skipping ahead, we got Language of the Priests. So a general of a Nehekharan royal host may be a Tomb King, must be a Tomb King or Tomb Prince. And for 35 points, if this character may have the Arise special rule and be a level 1 wizard, he can take Necromancy and must be chosen to be the Hierophant, even if he doesn't have the highest wizard level. And you can wear armor and cast spells without penalty.
And I think so far the assumption is, and the things that I've heard online, is you don't do this. Is that correct, boys?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's good to have an Arise, but like, also I feel like if I'm playing this army, I'm probably going to bring Cetra.
I mean, why? What else are we here for, right? Like,
unless you're doing like the bullshit blob.
Bullshit blob.
I think that's probably what you do. Like, if you're playing this for the fun, you're playing Cetra. If you're playing it for bullshit blob, you maybe spend the 35 points. It's like,
and if you don't know what the BS blob is, just hang in there. We'll get to it. Lay in wait, Peter.
Lay in wait. This rule is the best rule. The reason why you take this army, up to 1 unit of skeleton skirmishers per 1,000 points can have the ambusher special rule.
That's like 10 points of value right there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. And
get it for free. It's crazy.
Oh boy. Boy. So powerful. Masterful Outriders is next, and 0 to 1 units of skeleton horse archers per 1,000 points may have chariot runners for free as well. That one's a little, I feel that one's a little better, because if you want to make a big super unit of chariots, having some chariot runners out front to stop you just like losing is not the worst thing in the world. But still, these are both very meh. What's the last one there, Danny?
The last one is actually good. Steadfast Discipline. A unit with this special rule can volley fire during the turn in which it is moved or whilst performing a stand and shoot charge reaction.
It's big, actually.
Yeah.
It's what really can make, like, through a series of rules abuses, make this army go insane.
Okay. So time to talk about the BS blob. So the BS blob is what initially spawned, I think, every other blob. It was the first, like, I think, true infantry Death Star we had seen this in this game.
Yeah, like the only other one I saw was like the biggest unit of Rangers ever.
Yeah, so the Linehammer Rangers, you're right. They may have come first, but
it's the same. It has a very similar concept, and this is just it's a good iteration of this unit. I feel like
that's fair. Falcon, what were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Like, I think you're right. Like, when the Orc and Goblin, like when this book came out, it was the first one to really give us the option to go like mass poison spam. But it didn't see play right away, because Mortuary Cults is just an easier, when we get to it, like such an easier way to play the army, like on paper without having to do anything insane.
Yeah.
But like as people have begun to learn with like goblin poison blobs and ungor poison blobs, just having like 60, 70, 80, 90 guys shoot poison arrows is pretty sweet. And when they're only like 4 points a model, it's even better.
Yeah.
Now, the issue that I've had with the BS blob is that it doesn't have the reliability for Plague of Rust because you can't pack a level 4. And so that's what I think made it into you're leaning into the recursion aspect of that super brick, and the fact that you will win via attrition even if they do connect, because you'll have static combat at infinity, and then you can try and use debuffs and hold people in negative challenges and stuff like that to tank them out and beat them on combat res, punch them back and push them back and start shooting them again. So I do think that's a thing that makes this a bit more of an awkward super unit, and also, but still, it's toxic as hell. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, because so when you think about it, let's say you take a unit of 90 guys, and you take with the cohort, when we get into it, 20 or 30 of them are going to be dudes with spears. You still have 70 or so with arrows. Because of this volley fire rule, where you're constantly volley firing, like it's very easy to still put out like 40 shots a turn or more. With this unit that are always sitting on 5s, probably re-rolling 1s to hit, and poisoned on 6s. And even without Plague of Rust, outside of like Chaos Dragons and stuff, you're killing most like 6-7 wound monsters and models, right? And really hampering a lot of the other flying creatures that you need to be scared of. So.
And it's such a fact that with these super units, these Death Stars, and of course, like we're saying, all these Death Stars are predicated off a bow that is poisoned. That's all they're predicated on. And then you make it variously better or worse due to being able to recur units, put challenge beasts in there, have more or less static combat res, or double move or reserve move and stuff like that. And they've all got their own little wrinkles and ways to beat them or ways to not be beating them and stuff like that. Yeah. But the fact that this one throws essentially more dice than the rest, like the biggest unit of Night Goblins I've seen is I think a 60, and they don't all shoot. They never all shoot. Unless you've got the perfect largest hill you've ever dang seen, in which case don't let that be a thing.
Or you're shooting at a big boy. Or
you're shooting at a large target. All right, into the Mortuary Cult, which is the far better, far more ridiculous section of this book. Peter, take us away with the composition list.
So the Mortuary Cult, for characters, up to 50% of your points can be spent on at least one, so a 1+ High Priest or Mortuary Priest. You can have up to one Tomb Prince or Arch Necrotect. It's a new unit per 1,000 points, and you can have infinite Necrotects. At core, 33% tax, like most armies of infamy. You can have Skeleton Warrior, Skeleton Archer, Skeleton Skirmisher, Skeleton Horseman, Skeleton Horse Archers. You can have up to one unit of Tomb Swarms per army, no matter the size, as a core choice. You can have up to one unit of Ushabti as a core choice. And you can have up to one unit of Necroserpents, which is basically just the rider dudes. You just get their snakes as a core choice. In addition to that, at special, for 50% of your points, you have to have at least one Tomb Scorpion per 1,000 points.
Oh no!
So
sorry, 1+.
Two of probably the best unit in your book. You have to take them. And then you can have unlimited Ushabti, Venerable Ushabti, which are just Ushabti that are slightly better, Tomb Swarms, Carrion, Sepulchral Stalkers, Necroserpents, and Skeleton Chariots. You may also have either one Necrosphinx or one Necrolith Colossus as a special choice. In rare, up to 33%, so you get a little bonus on your rare. You can have as many Necrolith Colossi or Necrosphinxes as you want. You can have up to 2 Screaming Skull Catapults per 1,000 points. And you can have up to 1 Casket of Souls per 1,000 points. In addition, your Battle Spit Standard Bearer has to be a Mortuary Priest in this list. It cannot be a Tomb Prince. But they gain the same special rules as a battle standard bearer in his army would. And that's everything.
So this is apart from, like, I mean, there's no restrictions here. This is a list with no actual hard tasks to think of in your brain.
Well, you lose a Tomb King, which is big. Like, you lose your best combat character, right? But That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. That is a thing. Like you do lose your best combat character. That's fair. But my God, the fact that like, cool. Oh no. Usually when we get armies of infamy, the fact that you have to spend like 8% more of your army on core is usually a hard thing. It's usually like, that sucks, but you get some special rules in compensation. There's no need to compensate here. You get a Sharpty in core. You get Tomb Swarms in core, which you will be taking when you read the special rules. Like there actually is no downside here because you can just fill out premium units into that core slot and they more than make up for the fact you have to pay 8% more tax. Like the fact that you have to take Tomb Scorpions. All right. We're doing a question on part 2. I've got a question for you guys on part 2. Name me at least one model, single model, non-character that's better than a Tomb Scorpion for the points. Like just try. Because I don't know if there is. Like, I genuinely don't know if there is. And the fact that you have to take one is just the funniest crap.
You have to take 2 at 2,000 points.
Oh, geez, my heart bleeds.
Yeah, Adam, don't forget that. That's 170 points down the drain.
Such a tax.
170. That's great. It's 140 points, Danny.
140.
Oh, I thought they were 85. They're 70 points.
They're 70 points. 75 if you give them ambush.
Woohoo! Party time. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so they're 150. Yeah. Wow. Because you want 2 with ambush, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, enough for the salt there. We've got some more salt to have here. This is salty sand. Authority of the Hierophant.
Adam's the only one that's salty amongst us, by the way. Because he got destroyed by mortuary cults this last week. Anyway.
Hey, well, I was destroying you with mortuary cults for like a fortnight.
I have to say, my dragon ogres and my my pigs did not appreciate killing blow on those Tomb Scorpions when we played.
No.
There are a few who do.
No.
All right, into the special rules. Authority of the Hierophant. Mortuary cult army must have at least one Lich priest to be its Hierophant. No duh. The Hierophant of a mortuary cult army must also be its general, even if they are not the character with the highest leadership in your army. Fair enough. Makes all the sense in the world. I'll do another one. Harmonious incantations. If a Lich Priest with mortuary cult army uses the Arise special rule, whilst in the command range of one or more other friendly Lich Priests, the number of wounds the chosen unit recovers is increased by 1. Nice little one there. I mean, that one makes sense. That's on brand. That's totally in keeping with what it's all about.
It's quite strong. Like, moving from 5 to 7 to 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Like skeletons being rezzed every turn, or your Tomb Swarms, basically popping up almost two Tomb Swarms back to full with a level 4. It's quite good.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, wounds on monsters too.
Yeah, it is. Monsters get 1 back; they go from 1 to 2, so it's like a full 100% increase. All right, Danny, next one.
Sepulchral armor. Before making a casting roll, or animus, before making a casting roll, any Lich Priest within mortuary cult army can draw upon the magical animus of any nearby undead constructs. So you pick a Nehekharan undead unit within their command range, whose type is swarms, monstrous infantry, monstrous cavalry, monstrous creature, behemoth. They immediately take 1 to 3 wounds, and then you get to add that to your casting roll. Note that this is only a modifier to the roll. It doesn't make you not miscast.
Yeah.
Imagine if that were also part of the roll. It's the incredible ability, like army defining, making sure that you can push through the spells that you need when you need them is an incredibly powerful ability.
Yeah. Like because Tomb Swarms are core in this army, like you're always going to take a unit of at least 3, if not 4 or 5, depending on how greedy you want to be.
Yeah.
And just like auto casting at a +8 most of the time is wild.
It's crazy. This single rule means that mortuary cults have the most consistent and probably across the board best magic in the game. Is that safe to say, boys?
Oh yeah, easily. Like there's
not a question.
You can make
8, there's only
other
all that's a 12+ in the game. So literally every spell in the game on anything that's not dub ones, guaranteed.
Other armies can have a single caster that can be as good as these guys or equivalent. Like I'm thinking about the Infernal Puppet guys and stuff like that. But they're more reactive magic users, as I call these guys proactive magic users, where their magic phase is so just front-loaded, crazy powerful. Whereas you can take magic users that like do as much as these guys, but on the dispel rather than the offense.
Well, the exception would be like the Master Necromancer. Like if you do stack.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah. You can make a single Master Necromancer as good as a Mortuary Cult level 4. Right?
Like you can make 2 or 3 of them, but 2 of them, like what, cast at a +3. So they're almost as good versus the +4. But like you're building around a very specific build. You have to bunker down all your Necromancers close together. And you have to not be running Renegade factions so that the aura is still stacked. But yeah, that's about the only army that comes close.
All right, last one, Peter.
Terrors below. So any Tomb Scorpion or unit of Necroserpents may have this special rule added for 2 points per model. When a unit with the special rule is placed on the battlefield as a result of using From Beneath the Sands, it may nominate a single enemy unit that is within 8 inches and whose troop type is regular infantry or heavy infantry. So almost nothing that is being used currently in the game.
Yep.
The nominated enemy unit must immediately make a number of initiative tests equal to the unit strength of this unit. For each test that has failed, a single model belonging to the nominated unit is removed from play as a casualty. So this is like situationally good. Because like basically if you're playing against dwarves, you can really fuck up dwarves pretty bad. Especially if they have like little doom seekers that they're doing stupid stuff with, because the guy just dies. I mean, it's like he's got initiative 3, so he's got a 50-50 shot on all of the dice rolls he has to make. But
I'm of the opinion, after you've written your list to your satisfaction, if it is not at 2,000 points, sure, chuck on a 1 or 2 terrors below. That's pretty much how I think about it.
Yeah, I think if infantry was better, like used more, we would see like people do like a necroserpent bomb, maybe.
Exactly.
Yep.
But otherwise,
All right, we're going to be moving on to the special units. The first of which is Cetra the Imperishable. He is back, the Great King of Nehekhara, or the Silent King of this IP, as Danny would say. We love him. We love Cetra. Cetra's Chad. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 5. He's got 8 wounds in totality for his Chariot of the Gods. His initiative 3, initiative 2 on the steeds, of course, 5 attacks, leadership 10, 445 points, making him, as far as I can tell, the most expensive special character in the game. He has, of course, his heavy chariot, 4+ armor save. He's got the Blessed Blade of Patra, Chariot of the Gods, the Crown of Nehekhara, the Scarab Brooch of Usurian, and is a level 1 wizard, knows the spells of Nehekhara. Command of the Legions is first special rule against the Arise special rule, and unlike other models with a special rule, may use it even when engaged in combat, which is kind of cute. I actually quite like it. Then Cetra does not kneel. Cetra must always accept a challenge unless Nekaf, the emissary of Cetra, is engaged in the same combat, which is actually hard to do, seeing as he's on foot and Cetra's in chariot. In which case, he gets to take the challenge on Cetra's behalf. And then we've got to keep going because this is a 2-page spread, which means this unit is good, but not for the cost. If your army includes Cetra, he must be the army's general. No duh. He must be chosen as the army's hierophant, even if he doesn't have the highest level of wizardry. In addition, has a command range of 18 inches. Fantastic. Impact hits, so Chariot of the Gods. Impact hits caused by the Chariot of the Gods has flaming attacks and magic attack special rule. In addition, when fielded with a royal host army, this model may join a unit of Tomb Guard chariots, even if its troop type were light chariot, because of course he's a heavy chariot. And if I didn't say, it's got 2d3 impact hits. His Indomitable 3 has My Will Be Done, of course, Regeneration 5+, and Cetra the Great. Crown of Nehekhara. Cetra's My Will Be Done special rule affects all friendly units with, all friendly Tomb King units within 6 of him, not just the ones he's joined. And then the Scarab Brooch gives the 5+ ward save I just mentioned, with no terms and conditions. And then in combat, Cetra is Strength User, which is 6, AP 3, flaming attacks and magic attacks requires 2 hands, and any enemy model that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from this weapon suffers a -1 modifier to its hit rolls, both when shooting and in combat for the remainder of the game. There is the full package for this mighty, mighty, mighty one. Falcon, first impressions, mate.
Listen, Cetra is the coolest special character in the game by like a million billion. Just lore-wise, Cetra's amazing.
Yeah.
He does not kneel. He had the best ending of any of the guys in the end times. Sure. He's just a baller. I love him. Movement 8 is great on a chariot. He's got that Tomb King stat line. He hits hard. I wish his weapon was multiple wounds, but giving you a to hit penalty just by doming you once is great. You know, he's got what, a 4+5+5+, so he's actually reliably chonky in combat.
8 wounds
for a while. He's awesome. Like, yes, he's 445 points. Yes, there are dragons and stuff that are better than him, but like, he's actually like, I think he's pretty well costed given
he's got a triple save.
Yeah, triple save is good. I just realized he doesn't. Does he not have Swift Stride?
No, I was looking for that same thing.
I just realized that. Yeah, wow, that sucks. So he nerfs the unit of chariots he joins by removing their Swift Stride.
Yeah,
but who cares?
Goddamn. Still, no, it just annoys me because he should have it all for 450 points. Pretty much, he should have it all, baby. And I want Cetra to be good. Yeah. I want Cetra to be good. I want Cetra to be so freaking good.
He does have 4 horses, so he probably should have Swift Stride.
Yeah,
but he picked the dumb horses.
No, it's the 5th. The 5th horse is the one that has Swift Stride. You have to, it doesn't make the cut.
Royal Charioteer, bring your stupidest and slowest horses for my chariot.
Yes, please bring me your worst horses. I want them to feel better about themselves.
They have to wear these stupid little crowns too.
Yeah. No, but Cetra's a baller. And if you're playing Royal Host, freaking do it. You deserve to play Cetra. Like, you deserve it.
Not if you want to win. Well, if you want to win a tournament, don't. But if you want to just...
Yeah.
You know what? I shouldn't even say that. There has been people that have done really well in tournaments with Cetra.
Correct.
So, like, it has happened.
Mm-hmm. He's so fast to get where he needs to be with, like, reserve move and movement 8.
Yeah.
Right? Because the chariot unit will have reserve move.
It's true.
Yep. And he's got like that. The fact that his My Will Be Done is a bubble is great too.
Yeah, it's really good.
You can do that twice in an army too, right?
What?
Sorry, what was that?
There's a magic item that lets you do that twice.
The other bubbles. Yeah, you can. Yeah. You could make like 2, maxed out chariot units and pretty much bubble them both around. That'd be pretty sick. Or just, it'd be more like him in a big unit and then a single chariot character be like built for some specific purpose. It'd be unkillable, like a triple save guy or someone to go in with a premium weapon, hit a flank and just kind of kill down stuff. But anyway,
just take a dragon, Adam. Don't be
no dragons in your Royal Host. Piss off. None. Anyway, Danny, Prince Apophis, who has my favorite Tomb King's model.
He is a really cool model. Unfortunately, he's movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 3, 4 wounds, initiative 1, 5 attacks, leadership 8, for a total of 130 points. So he's got a very weird profile for a Tomb King model with toughness 3. He's a regular infantry model on a 25x25. He's got swarming masses, which is a strength 2 breath weapon that always wounds on a 4.
Oh boy.
So you have a 25% chance of doing a wound to any model that you put the template over, basically. Okay. He's got ambushers, fly 9, indomitable 2, Kopesh, loner, Nehekharan undead, regen 5+, and he has the scare imprints, Ursian's Reaper, and the terror special rule. Scare prince is when he dies, all enemy units within 2d6 of him take 2d6 strength 2 hits at AP -1. Cool. I love a rule that only activates when my character is dead. And then Ursian's Reaper is after deployment, you nominate a single character in your opponent's list. You get to reroll to hit rolls and to wound rolls against that character. And you get magic attacks against that guy. And so then he has just his breath weapon. So he's a little loner character that flies around. He gets infantry protection. He gets to march, which is kind of cool for 130 points, but like it's also 130 points, and Tomb Kings have so many better models. This could be like almost 2 Tomb Scorpions.
Yep. So I have so many issues with him. The fact that you get to reroll hit and wound with your 5 attacks with a freaking hand weapon. Yay! Oh boy, not even an AP in combat. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't enhance or buff anything. He doesn't. He sucks. He's missing something that would make him like add to a unit, like give him My Will Be Done or something, or just I don't know. I mean, there is a mission structure that I've played in previous rank and flank games where having characters in table quarters at the end of the game resulted in points. And I mean, he's a fly 9 single model character with loner that you can just hide and just shoot out. Like if that should ever be a mission structure you're in, I guess this guy would have a place all of a sudden because he does move very quick for a Tomb King's model.
Yeah.
And
so hear me out.
Yeah, that would work.
So he does have AP on his attacks because he has Kopesh. So he has AP.
Oh, true. He's got AP1. Yeah.
This is not me trying to argue that he's good. This is me trying to argue that he's not like the worst thing ever. He's fly 9 with terror.
Yeah.
And he explodes when he dies. If like I could see him being quite useful into like, I don't know, like Wood Elves or something where they're running a lot of MSU and you can just like dive bomb a back end. You're getting those full rerolls to hit and wound. So like even all of their hit shenanigans don't affect you too much. And then you die and you might kill like 8 or 9 or more like Glade Guard because of this huge explosion. He's got a good top end in that particular matchup. But he's not great.
All right. PD baby, take it away. Nehekharans.
Nehekharans. Nehekharans actually kind of cool. So he's 120 points. He's movement 4, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 3, doesn't matter, he doesn't shoot anybody. Strength 4, tough 4, 2 wounds. Initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 8. This dude is the Royal Herald, so he counts as a Royal Herald in any list that can have one. And he's Cetra's big daddy buddy. As such, he's known as the Herald of Despair.
I got to stop you right there, Peter. It's clearly stated that no one is Cetra's daddy. There's been books written. We have like 20 years of
Cetra has a big daddy buddy. It's like it doesn't say. It says he does not kneel. It's not like he's kneeling to the calf. He's not kneeling to the Herald of Despair.
Are you suggesting
tidings of woe uttered by the calf before battle are enough to break the spirits of even the most stout-hearted foes? And who is more stout-hearted than Cetra?
I refute your assumptions of Cetra's kinks.
Or a unit he has joined must roll an extra D6 when making a fear or terror test and discard the lowest result. This can be pretty. This can be actually quite useful in like a big skeleton block. You can do some really cool stuff just to get rid of those, just to force all those rerolls, right? Cetra's champion, as his champion, Nehekharans must always issue and accept challenges. However, challenges issued by Nehekharans cannot be refused. In addition, while he's engaged in a challenge, Nehekharans has killing blow, but he rolls on a 5 or a 6 for it, which is quite strong. And lastly, he has the Flail of Conquered Kings. So this is effectively a great weapon that lets him strike at initiative. Sorry, a flail that lets him strike at initiative. So he's strength +2, AP 2, multiple wounds 2. And that's pretty solid, man. 3 attacks, strength 6, AP 2, multiple wounds 2, and killing blow on a 5 or 6 in a challenge. He's actually not that terrible. And initiative 4, which is pretty fast for a Tomb King. So
I wish he had like one more toughness. I wish he had like a Tomb Prince toughness 5. But that's pretty much by the by. I actually think he's quite good for 120. I think he's actually a problem because of the you cannot refuse his challenges. So he goes in turn 1, ice like you got a wizard in your unit, but you got a champ as well. Turn 1 ices the champ. Turn 2 starts wailing on your wizard with killing blow 5. Like you actually have to respect him. And I like that a lot. I think that's cool.
Yep.
The problem is like you play ogres or you play like Warriors of Chaos, and then he just like loses to their champion.
I mean, he does have killing blow, so he could just straight up killing blow their champion.
Could just
on 5 or 6. It's not impossible.
It's 3 attacks and it's either hitting on 3, so you got 2 hits, and then you got to whip a 5 on 2 dice. It happens a lot, but it could also not happen.
Yeah.
What I do love is this guy as a psychological threat, stacking like next to hit, so he actually makes it to swing versus units. So you charge this guy, and you have to accept his challenge, and then he's like glittering robes plus lighter protection, and you're like, oh no, oh dear, weapon skill 5 with my handful of attacks, I might just not kill this dude.
You're often only hitting him on 6s, and because of his fear thing, like if you don't also cause fear, you're re-rolling those 6s. Like,
or if you can put terror in his unit.
Yeah, man. I actually think he's cool. I think there's a bunch of builds that can make him very respectable. All right. Arch Necrotect is the first of the generic units. This is just an enhanced Necrotect. It's 90 points. I believe he gets an extra weapon skill going to 4, strength and toughness 4, an extra wound going to 3, initiative 3, and 3 attacks, which is, I believe, 1 more attack also. 75 points of magic items rather than the 50. Immortal Overseer has Kopesh as well, and of course regen 5+ with Stone Shaper. Immortal Overseer is during the combat sub-phase of their turn. This character may attempt to drive a single friendly unit within their command range to greater efforts by making a leadership test using their own leadership, which is 8. If this test is passed until you start a next turn sub-phase, that unit gains a +D3 modifier to its initiative for a maximum of 10. And then Stone Shaper is during the command sub-phase of their turn. If they are not engaged in combat, this character may nominate a single friendly Necrolith Colossus, Necrosphinx, or unit of a Sharptie or Venerable Sharptie within their command range until this turn. The nominated unit improves the value of their regeneration save by 1, which I believe is the far more significant of the 2 buffs. What do you boys think about it?
The initiative enhancement is, both those things are really cool on Ushabti too. Like because they have the, if you're running the great weapon ones, like it's a bonus to initiative, so it actually makes their great weapons not strike last.
Yeah,
which is cool. But a lot of people are running bow ones. But I mean, getting +1 regen is amazing. Like on any of those units. I mean, it makes the Necrosphinx a 4+ regen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
And like, there's nothing like this came out when the book came out. Yeah. Technically, nothing saying you can't stack it.
Technically, there isn't. You are correct. But then you're spending 180 points at a minimum to get to the 3+. And as long as they're staying within 8 inches of this guy, which they'll usually outpace, but I get it. Like, it's a thing, right?
Yep. Like, you could build like a bunker situation where you're just like, come at all my Ushabti that are now like a 4+ or a 3+ or something and kind of live like that. But it's not, I don't think it's worth it. I think you're way better ways to play the army, but yeah.
Me too. Suffice to say, I've never played this guy in any of my armies. Have you boys ever played him in yours? Because right now we've all played Tomb King's Arcane Journal. We've all used this army.
I could never afford him because I would rather have a Tomb Prince most of the time.
Yeah. I played against it once with a guy running the Colossus and trying to get it to a 4+ regen. It didn't matter, but that was kind of the only thing.
Yeah, Peter and his Warriors of Chaos do not care, pretty much. Danny Boy, Skeleton Infantry Cohorts, a very interesting unit to unpack. Take it away.
So, this is the unit that we were talking about previously. It's a mixed unit of archers and spearmen. So, same stats as normal skeletons. They're 5 points a model, and it's 5 points for each of the command options. The warriors, so the spearmen, have hand weapon, thrusting spears, light armor, and shields, which means they get a discount on equipment. I think both of them get like free light armor, something like that, I think, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then the Royal Hearst archers have light armor and war bows. The unit can take a 50-point banner, and the Master of Arms can take magic items worth up to 30 points, which is perfect for taking the poisoned attacks item, which is really nice because it's really hard to get rid of at that point because you can just keep bringing them back.
Yeah.
They can take Nehekharans and Phalanx for 10 points a model. They have Arrows of Asaph, which so the 5+ always hit. They have Close Order, Horde, Motley Crew, Nehekharan Undead, Regen 6+, Regimental Unit, and Steadfast Discipline.
It is.
You have to take 10 of each to start with, but it's 10+, so you can mix that however you want. There's no limit to the ratio.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. You're priced into taking a 100-point unit, no matter what, because you have to have 10 of each to start. But then past that, whatever you like, you can add 100 more archers and just have the 10 spearmen, or vice versa.
Right. You just have to have the spearmen up front and the archers behind them.
Yeah, correct. Do you like? So I'd actually I might leave this as a question for part 2. But do we like these mixed units that are being brought in? Because they're an interesting thing to unpack, and it's only a matter of time before they get more silly and broken. I think if they keep going. But Peter, what do you think about this unit?
Well, I don't think anything gets more silly and broken than this one.
That's fair. That's actually fair.
Like I actually love them. Like the ones we've seen coming up in future books are cool. This one is the best one for a number of reasons. Like, it's cheap, 5 points per model. You get 5 up armor saves on the front guys and regen, 6 up armor saves on your archers. Like Danny mentioned, you can give them poison easily on the champion, and the champion is always the first unit model rezzed if he happens to get like targeted out. So like it's really hard for this unit to lose it. That 10-point Nehekharan phalanx upgrade is massive. Also incredible because it allows you to not move when you fail a break test instead of that 2-inch give ground, which can like completely change games. Just forcing your opponent to stay in combat with you rather than having the option to try to break away or follow up. And then steadfast discipline. So like you're always volley firing, so it doesn't matter that you have those guys in the back. Like this unit is like, it's a unit. It does everything you want. So
yeah, let's talk about the next thing, Peter.
The venerable Ushabti, Danny. What the hell are these guys?
What is a venerable Ushabti? No one knows, Peter. Actually, it's a mystery. People think that it's a name invented by the ancient Iroquois, Peter. Just kidding. It's an Egyptian theme based on little statues that they sold at rituals. Venerable Ushabti, though, as a unit in the game Warhammer the Old World, is a unit with movement 4, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds each, initiative 2, 3 base attacks, and leadership 8 for 56 points a model. They can take an ancient, a venerable ancient, for 7 points. And they come with heavy armor, ritual blades, and their normal hand weapons. They have close order, indomitable 1, the Kopesh rule. They also have magic resistance 2, Nehekharan undead, and regen 6+. Ritual blade, of course, as we know from regular Ushabti, is a strength +2, AP -3, close combat weapon with strikes last.
Yeah, I'm a fan of venerable Ushabti on paper. And I never find myself taking them. How do you boys feel?
Yeah.
I think the problem with Venerable Ushabti is Dragon Ogres exist. It's really hard. Yes, they get magic resist too, but they're only like 5 points per model. Well, they're 7 points per model cheaper than a fully kitted out Dragon Ogre with a worse save by 2 points.
Yeah,
they have 1 plus weapon skill, 1 better weapon skill, 1 less wound, which is the big problem.
How much less move?
Yeah, 3 inch less of movement.
So those are 2 huge things. Yeah, like I would love them to be good. They're just not that great.
I just wish they had regen 5 instead of 6. That would be all it would need for me.
That'd be good. I've used them a bit. I've used a normal unit. And a unit of venerables, and like if they have light of protection on, they're really annoying. Because everything is pretty much hitting them on 5s.
Yeah. Your best character hits them. On a 4.
On a 4, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, moving on to the skeleton cavalry cohort. Exactly the same as the infantry cohort. Pretty much a mix of horsemen and horse archers. You have to have 5 of each starting, which means this is on the expensive side for literally 5 no save cavalry in the game, where there's lots of very strong cavalry in the game.
It's 115 points.
115, yeah. But you get cavalry spears, light armor, and shields for those 12 points per model on the horseman, and light armor and warbows for the 11 points on the horse archer. They have all the usual upgrades. You can have counter charge at 1 point per model, 50-point magic standard, and 30 points of magic items on the Sarge. They have, of course, arrows of the Athath, Closed Order, Motley Crew, Nehekharan Undead, 6+ regen, Steadfast Discipline, Swift Stride, and Vanguard. I think these are rubbish. I don't think these are very good, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just simply because it's just 5 wounds for 115 points with no save and no killing power and no staying power. And I don't see what you could use them for. I try to conjure a purpose for them. I can't think of one. I'm hoping wrong.
The good part of Light Horseman, which is reserve move.
Yeah, exactly right. They lose the flexibility of like essentially being the old school fast cab, and then they're trying to tell you to play these like a multimodal unit, but they're not good at any of those modes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Peter, Necroserpents.
Necroserpents. So these are the mounts of our favorite little whatchamacallit dudes whose name I'm forgetting right now. Yeah, them. So the movement 7, weapon skill 3, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3. They have 3 attacks, leadership 7, 38 points a model, so pretty cheap. Unit size 2+. They've got lashing tails and venomous fangs, so they all count as hand weapons. Their special rules: they have ambushers built in, they have armored hide 1, impact hits 1, indomitable 1. They move through cover. Nehekharan undead, they're open order, they've got poisoned attacks, they're regen 6, and they have swift stride. They're kind of cute. Like for 38 points, it's not that bad of a stat line. No AP on their attacks kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But it's, a decent amount of attacks with poison. The real big thing I think for this is, if you're ever in a world where you get to use their initiative check in mortuary cults, then I think you see more play. I've seen people run like units of 2 as diverters in mortuary cults, and that's the majority of what I've seen them be used for. So,
yeah, I mean, so there's 2 issues here. I wish they had AP on their attacks, and I wish they had a save. Like they have armored hide 1, so essentially light armor. They're made of freaking stone. They're only toughness 4 with light armor. Why, guys? Why? Yeah, why? They haven't. Yeah, it annoys me. It annoys me for 38 points. They essentially don't have a save. All right, Tombguard Chariots, Danny.
So Tombguard Chariots are a light chariot unit. Same stat line as the normal light chariot for 53 points a model, except you get 2 Tombguard. So weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 7. The champion is just +1 attack on top of that. They're on the normal chariot basis. They do have a better armor save of 4+. Excuse me. The crew have halberds and shields. Although why they have shields, I don't think that matters at all. They have you can take command for 7 points, an upgrade. You can take a 50-point magic standard, and you can take 50 points of magic items on the champion. The Tombguard have cleaving blow. They have impact hits D3 +1, dries dust, indomitable 2, Kopesh, Nehekharan undead, open order, regen 6+. They still have reserve move, and they still have swift stride. 53 points a model. They're more expensive. You can only take them in Royal Host. I like them if you're going to take Royal Host. I think it seems like a pretty good upgrade to a normal chariot unit that you would take to fill out core.
What's the points difference between these guys and the regulars, if you guys know? So what you're getting
give me a sec.
You're getting one better save, you're getting 1 better weapon skill, you're getting much higher quality attacks, like significantly high quality attacks that have cleaving blow. You get an extra impact hit.
I think they're 35. They're 43, so 10 extra 10 points a model.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's a decent 10 points. Yeah, for better everything, with the exception of not having bows, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the one disadvantage I would say that these have over the normal ones, but that's, I don't know, 6 bow shots or whatever from a standard unit.
Yeah, exactly right. We're not. It's not. Yeah, we're splitting hairs here. Right. Peter, what do you think?
I really like the unit. If light chariots were better, like if you had AP on these impact hits, I'd use them all day, every day. But even still, it's not a bad unit. 2 or 3 of them as like your Cetra bodyguard is really cool. Or 3 of them, I guess, is because it's the minimum size.
Yep.
I actually kind of wish they were a 2+ unit, to be honest. But
me too. I would like that.
It's they're great. They're not broken by any means, but if I saw you using them in the list, I wouldn't say there was any problem with them.
Yeah.
What Danny mentioned about them saying they had shields and why I would say that, I wish it didn't, because it's caused so much confusion. It's a question I see it come up every now and then where people are like, well, they have a 3+ armor, because they don't understand like the chariot rule for armor saves. And it is actually become an argument more than once. So.
Stuff it, give them a 3-up. I think it's fine. But I
think they'd be fine with a 3-up. I think they'd.
Yeah. You'd probably see them more like with a 3-up, and that would, I'd have no problem playing against that at that point. Although then I'd be like, well, yeah, but do Tomb Kings need like another thing?
No, you're right. That's fair. They don't. Royal Host does. Royal Host needs more reasons not to play the BS block. So I'd down for it. All right, into the magic items. The first of which is the Blade of Atanarak. And Tarak. Yeah, that one. 45 points. It is strength +1, AP 1 magical attacks. It may only be taken by a Nehekharan undead royal host army of infamy. For each wound an enemy unit loses as a result of an attack made with this blade, its bearer immediately recovers a single lost wound. Pretty bad.
It's cool on a dragon.
It's great. It's crazy on a dragon, but a great weapon is way better damage output than this. But this is just like, you ain't going anywhere, man. You're locked down with me. Playtime. Bonesaw. Blade of Bonesaw, we're going to call this. 3 minutes, baby. You and me. All right, what's next, Peter?
The Conqueror's Blade. Many a king and queen, warlord and emperor, foolish enough to resist the rule of Lord of Nakara, have found their heads parted from their bodies by this wicked weapon. It's 55 points. Strength +2, AP 2, killing blow. Magical attacks, requires 2 hands, strikes last. But also, as a note, while engaged in a challenge, the bearer of the Conqueror's Blade strikes a killing blow on a 5 or a 6, much like our buddy Nekaf, when making a 2-wound roll, rather than the usual 6. In addition, should the wielder slay the enemy general in a challenge, you gain an extra 100 victory points at the end of the game.
How do you feel about it? It's a lot of points more than a great weapon for a great weapon with magical attacks and 5 or 6 killing blow. But 5 or 6 killing blow is a hell of a thing.
5 or 6 killing blow is real good. And there's a few there's a few places this can be used. If you're really if you're not going to go with the cheap serpent staff route, the Conqueror's Blade on a high priest with illusion and lore familiar does a lot of work.
That's pretty good. That's like the Necromancer with Sword and Kings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that extra 100 victory points, it's going to come up someday.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's fine. I don't think you're going to use it because it is very expensive at 55 points. But it's better than a lot of the other killing blow magic items.
It is.
It's got some big style points.
Danny, baby.
All right, so we've got Pact. His Blades of Justice, they're 35 points. They're a melee weapon. They're a strength user, AP -1, magic attacks, and requires 2 hands. Off to an excellent start. Models, you can only take this on infantry models. They grant the user +1 attack for each rank an enemy unit has the enemy unit the wielder is engaged with. So in this for big, you can get a bunch of attacks. Yeah.
Well, in the BS block mirror match,
Warhammer in its solved form is just that matchup. That's all it is.
All right. Staff of Aeons for 30 points. Strength +2, AP 1, magical attacks requires 2 hands. The Staff of Aeons may only be taken by a Lich Priest or in a mortuary cult army of infamy. Any model that is hit by one or more of the close combat attacks made by this weapon suffers a -1 modifier to its armor value for the remainder of the game. It's cute. You're not taking it, but it's cute.
I've seen it used.
Yeah? In what fashion? Just like on the same thing you said, the Doppelganger level 4?
Yeah, like the Doppel High Priest is pretty popular in mortuary cults, and you'll see instead of people taking the Serpent Staff, they take this one just for that permanent armor reduction because it's only 10 points more. I think you probably just want the Serpent Staff to get the most out of the rest of your army, but it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't hate that take. Well, continue with you, mate. First of the magic armors.
The royal mantle for 40 points. It is said that the wisdom of the kings and queens of Nehekhara is held within their armored plates, giving counsel to the wearer as they command their warriors on the battlefield. So royal mantle can only be taken in a royal host army. It may be worn with other armor. It gives the wearer an additional +1 to their armor value. In addition, the wearer's My Will Be Done rule affects all friendly units with the Nehekharan undead special rule within 6 inches of them, not just a unit they have joined. So you become a mini Cetra. And that it's pretty good. Any of the armor items that give you an additional +1 and can be worn with other armor tend to be pretty solid. And this one has a really good extra effect on it. So for 40 points, I think it's if you're trying to do like a Tomb King build around, I think it's definitely worth it.
Yep, I quite like it on a unfortunately on a dragon, but on a chariot as well. Just because the dragon gets the most of the 6-inch aura, because you don't need to be in a unit to do My Will Be Done. So yeah, I quite like it. 40 points, not too bad. Can you get a 2-up? Are you able to get a 2-up on a Tomb Prince or Tomb King on dragon now with this? You can't, can you?
I don't think so.
I don't think the Tomb King has the option for full plate, so I think
it's just and nothing gives armored hide or anything like that in Tomb King, so it's just
I think you can just get a 3
heavy shield plus this 3-up. Danny.
So Warden Splint, you'll probably see this quite a bit. I feel like 35 points. It's heavy armor, which can be purchased by Lich Priest, which can cast spells no penalty. It also gives you a 5+ ward save. You see this a lot on Hierophants. You see it on level 4s in Mortuary Cult. Even on the BSB, I've seen that before too. That's not a bad choice.
Yeah,
I've seen this in pretty much every Tomb Kings list that I've played since this came out. It's just fantastic. Auto take almost. First of the talismans is Amulet of the Serpent. Is broken. It's 30 points. The bearer and any unit they've joined has poison attacks. Delete this immediately, GW, and delete every other thing that is similar to this immediately.
I'm so salty.
It's just, how did we come back to this? Like, it used to be this is what we did, and then we used to all have these busted poison units. I mean, straight up Kalita was the best way to play Tomb Kings for like 3 years of the last.
Yeah, but it wasn't that good.
No, it wasn't. It was the best of what they had, but there were still poison bricks running around in many different forms. Notably, in my meta was Witch Elves. We'd have the 40 Witch Elves plus Cauldron plus Hellebron poison bullshit. And I don't know, poison just seems to be a problematic special rule.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. It's definitely something that helps these infantry units compete with the monster meta. Or like high toughness meta, I feel like. And so I'm pro that.
I'm definitely not saying we should get rid of this before we get and solve those problems. We need
for sure. It can be a two-fold thing because let's see, now there's 2 different poison banners on armies as well.
Yes, yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Adam.
Well, continue with you, Danny. What's next?
Next we have Relic of the Desert Sun. This is a 25-point talisman. The bearer of the Relic of the Desert Sun is not subject to the dry as dust or flammable special rules. They're wet.
Yeah. This is the relic of wet.
Well, of the moistener. It's a moist towelette for your army. Love it. Is it any good though, boys?
No.
Yeah, don't take that.
Don't do this, guys.
Peter.
Although I did almost kill Adam's dragon in one game with a pillar of fire.
You did. It bounced through like twice or 3 times. I can't remember how many, but yeah.
It bounced through like 4 times. I think I did 8 wounds to your king, and you just kept regenning like that one a turn.
Imagine not being able to charge your king in because you have to keep him back in range to regen him because a pillar of freaking fire keeps bouncing through. It was hilarious.
It was just wild. I just kept rolling 6s and then getting the extra wound off. It was beautiful.
Yeah. You're up, Peter.
50 points, Magic Standard, the Royal Standard of Cetra. When Cetra's personal banner marches to war, it is an omen of doom for those who stand against him. For the true king of Nehekhara kneels to no one. All do bow to him for face and allegation. That's how his boys talk.
How much higher could it have gone though, Peter? If there was more words, were you screwed?
If I didn't have the sickness, I think I could hit some pretty pretty massive notes. The Royal Standard of Cetra may only be taken in a muster list that includes Cetra and or Nekaf. A unit carrying the Royal Standard gains hatred and terror.
Pretty good.
Terror, I should say.
Yeah, pretty good buffs, like pretty legitimate buffs. And yet, like, you kind of just don't take it.
No, it's very expensive. But like what Danny was kind of mentioning, like the cute thing with Nekaf and this banner is like, and like all the leadership negatives you can put on a unit. You can basically make anything that doesn't cost terror always fail their fear tests against you. And that's good. Yep. You can do some pretty cool stuff with that. So
nice. All right, Sigil of Centuries for 45 points. All enemy units within 6 of the model carrying the Sigil of Centuries suffers a -1 modifier to their initiative characteristic to a minimum of 1. You're so low on the initiative. Like, I mean, like I said, this would be fantastic in the mirror, I guess. But you're starting so low on the initiative that -1 probably doesn't matter vast majority of the times, especially when you're receiving charges. Doesn't matter at all. So I think this is kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't take it.
Danny?
Don't do it. The Tapestry of Conquered Lands, though, at 35 points, means that enemy standards captured by a unit carrying this banner is worth 100 victory points as a trophy of war. So you probably won't take this either. Like it's fine. Like it's cool. Like it's good in concept. It's just you don't see that stuff.
Nobody takes banners right now. Like
yeah. My thing is, when I read this the first time, it's been keeping free real estate in the back of my head, because the vast majority of missions that I remember playing in 8th edition fantasy, especially towards the end, required you to have standards on objectives or terrain pieces or in table quarters to count as as scoring them, and then just having like a BSB on a chariot in like this army who just sweeps around, like picking off people's 5-mans. Because I used to just take like 10 Noblars with a banner, 10 Noblars with a banner, 10 Noblars with a banner. And then people used to just send their Captus characters at me. But if you had this guy and you were taking like their 50, 60 point little scoring unit plus 100 points and you pick up 2 of those, you're laughing. But that is such a niche case point that, it doesn't touch the sides. Yep. It's 35 points as well. So you really, it's a lot. All right, Banner of the Desert Winds for 30 points. Models whose true type is infantry only. A unit carrying the Banner of the Desert Winds gains the Vanguard and Reserve move special rules. Anywhere that this is really good, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome item, I think.
Well, don't keep it a secret. Don't keep it a secret. Tell us which units.
I mean, it's really good on the infantry cohort.
100%. Yeah. Go on.
I mean,
is that all you have? Is that all you've got?
Sure. I mean, like, look, there are limited units you can put this on. You basically can put this on units of skeletons or units of Tomb Guard. So is it cool with either of those units if you're going to take them? Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty cool banner.
All right, Peter, enchanted items.
Oh, we still have more stuff to talk about.
I know.
The Staff of Awakening is 50 points. It's only carried by revered Lich Priests, and it's powerful because it amplifies the wielder's already formidable necromantic talents, I guess. This can only be used by High Priests. Mortuary Priests suck too much. When the wielder of the Staff of Awakening uses a rise on a friendly unit whose troop type is infantry or cavalry, that unit recovers an additional D3 wounds. This is fine. It's not worth 50 points because a rise is already a lot of dudes most of the time. And Mortuary Cults makes it even more dudes. So, like, it's okay. I don't think it's worth 50 points. It is worth 50 points. You just don't want to spend the points on it.
Yeah. I mean, for what it is on the paper, the words are very, very good. I wish it did more than infantry or cavalry. Like, I wish you could use this on freaking chariots. I wish it did more. But for 50 points, it's fair enough. It's fine. Danny.
So we have the Orb of Patron for 40 points. Any enemy model that targets this character or any unit they've joined during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier. I mean, that's fine. I wouldn't look down at anyone who took that item. I think it would be especially if they were going to put it with a big Death Star unit. That seems pretty annoying.
Yeah. absolutely. It's another facet to the. Usually, I don't see this taken on the cohort. I just say it's taken on the full unit of archers, just the archers, so that they, are more resilient to the shooting wars. All right, Pazerax Canopy for 40 points. Single use during the command subphase of their turn. If they are not engaged in combat, the bearer of this canopy may attempt to unleash its contents by making a leadership test using their own leadership. If the test is passed, place a unit of 2d6 plus 3 summoned skeleton warriors on the battlefield anywhere completely within 12 of this model, but not within 1 of any enemy models. And of course, they're just a skeleton. Yeah, usual one. Hand weapon and shields with Horde, Nehekharan Undead, Regeneration 6+, and Skirmishers. They do have Skirmishers, though, so there is that. And they are not worth any victory points. So this is 40 points for just a free unit of skellies, which is an average of 10 skellies, which coming in at 4 points per model would be 40 points. So if you do roll the average of 7 on the 2d6 plus 3, you will have a 40-point unit of skeletons just materialize. So it kind of pays for itself, but it's a niche case. And I've never seen this used, boys. Have you?
No,
but it has power. Like
it does.
The fact that you can drop it within 1 inch or at an inch away from an enemy unit lets you do some like really cool stuff to like block off table space. And it doesn't give up any victory points. Well, those skeletons don't, so there's that too. So yeah, like it's definitely a very usable item. It's
yeah, because like it doesn't transfer the point; it transfers those points to the character that has it. Basically, is the way.
Yeah. So let me just think about something for a second for you. You got a unit of skeleton archers. You're playing against, I don't know, wood elves, something that's very FSU or that's always going to be able to make combat with you. Theoretically, like you get charged by Peg Knights, you're going to lose that combat in Fabigo or bounce back. What if you summon this unit directly behind you, like directly behind your unit for a bounce through, like on demand?
Well, so Tomb Kings don't do that because they're unbreakable.
Yeah. So you'd block yourself into combat and you wouldn't bounce back because you couldn't, right?
Yeah, but let's say you get your average of 10 skeletons, and they don't cause you to crumble, like you just held them in place.
Yeah.
Full turn. Like there's just some use there in blocking off charges.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No, well, I like the idea with Peg Knights in particular, because if you bounce back from them, they can just charge 360, windmill, whatever they want. So you block yourself from bouncing back and stick in the combat and hold them.
Yeah.
Was the thinking.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of niche stuff you can do with this. I like it. All right, Danny Baby, you're second last, and Peter, you're the last one.
All right. So we've got the Curse Weaver Wand for 20 points. The bearer of the Curse Weaver Wand gains a +1 modifier to their casting roll when attempting to cast a hex spell. Is cool.
Yeah.
So maybe if you roll that spell every time, because you're not going to get to pick it. So hopefully you get it.
Yeah.
Like the one on the lore that you have.
Isn't Plague of Rust a hex?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just have to roll to get it though.
Right.
There is one hex in the Tomb King lore, so like you could always get that. And it's quite good. So
that's fair. That's a good point, Peter. I forgot about it's desiccation, right?
Yeah. All right, Peter, take us home.
Tablets of Tahoth. These powerful relics of Tahoth's wisdom crumble to dust once their power is spent. 20 points. A wizard may purchase up to 3 of these, and they're all single use. Before making a casting roll, you can choose to use any number of them, and for each one you use, you get +1 to the result of your casting roll. So, if you're in Mortuary Cults and you spend 60 points on this, you can get up to a +11 to cast. +12 if you also have the Curse Weaver Wand and you're casting like Plague of Rust.
Dum.
Or miasma.
I mean, that's 80 of your 100 points to spend on a level 4, but hilarious.
Yep.
No, this is definitely happening this turn.
I love it. All right. Interesting that's the only common magic item. The last one. That's the only common item in this magic section. Yeah? Yeah, it is. Huh, interesting. All right, boys, that brings us to the end of the review of the Arcane Journal for Tomb Kings. And now we're going to do our rating system. So we've all played Tomb Kings. We're all technically Tomb King players. Out of 10, how happy are each of you with this Arcane Journal?
Oh.
Don't all go first. Jump in.
I would say an 8.5. And I would say that it's really good, but like I wish that maybe some of the choices weren't so obvious, or there was like some limitations on some of the units. Like especially for max unit sizes, I feel like that would be a really good thing to do, kind of like they did with vampires.
Yeah.
I think this book loses points for it having one detachment that is so much better than the other.
Yeah, that's fair.
You look at this book and you evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the Royal Host versus the Mortuary Cult, and you're like, this one kind of doesn't have any, except not having beast combat characters, which is kind of fine because you have beast beast constructs like that you can just take ad nauseum, and the other one is just so hampered, so very hampered. It really feels like I'm of the opinion the Mortuary Cult Army of Infamy is the best constructed Army of Infamy in the game. It's well-rounded, it leans very much into its identity, and it's supercharged in what it does. So for me, I agree with you. 8 or a 9 for me. Falcon.
Yeah, I would say it's about an 8.
Yep.
I don't poo-poo the Royal Host so much, having played into the stupid brick, because it does exist. So, like, saying that it's like that much worse than mortuary cults, like,
but it has to do one of the dumbest. Yeah, it has to do one of the dumbest builds in the game to be relevant.
Yeah, but to be honest, like mortuary cults, a lot of their power is also in like having a 60-man archer brick on top of all their other stuff, right? So we got to consider that too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because 60 plus poison archers is just good, period, no matter what. And both of them are stupid. The fact that mortuary cults can get to a +8 to cast without having to like actually think, and the penalty to it is so minimal, is the problem. I give it an 8 mainly because it's too strong. In my mind, like the Royal Host is thematically cool. I think it has strength even without doing bullshit. It's just mortuary cults is so stupidly broken without having to like manipulate the game or manipulate TMP, Travel Mystical Pathway, which is a big part of making the other cohort work as well as it can.
That's a much better way of saying it than I did. Rob just complaining about things being too good because it loses. So the Royal Host is about on brand for the average arcane, like the average Army of Infamy. Like the Royal Host is like on brand for it, and then the Mortuary Cult spikes enormously. It's kind of perfect.
Yeah, and it's obvious. Like it's so obvious. Like I spent 3 seconds with this book.
Me too.
And I was like, this is when we got the preview for this like a year ago with Goonhammer, and I opened it up. I bet if I go back to my messages, the first thing I said a minute after opening it was Mortuary Cults is busted. I don't even know what's going on here. And like the only answer I got back was, well, like, people can use Infernal Puppet. And I was like, but like even then on a +8 to cast, all Infernal Puppet's doing for you is forcing your opponent to roll dub ones, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you're taking a thing that's also a toxic item to make it.
You are
right.
You fire with fire. All right, so I'm of the opinion. I don't think it's much debate. I think Mortuary Cults is the best army in the game. You boys think there's two things that are as good. I think those two things are slightly below Mortuary Cults, but both have the ability to tech and beat Mortuary Cults. And I think those two other things is Bretonnian Warriors of Chaos. But where do you put them? Do you put them as number 1, number 2, or number 3, or do you disagree entirely?
I don't know. I don't disagree with that at all. I definitely think they're a top 3 army in the game. But I would have a hard time ranking those. All right. Fair disclosure. I do feel like Warriors is to me, I think is the best army in the game. And then I think Bretonnians and Tomb Kings are like just under them.
That's fair.
But I think it's really close, and they all have the ability to beat each other. I just think that Warriors has some unbelievably good combinations of units.
Beta.
I really I don't know if I can rank them. Like, the more I've played this game, because I've played a lot of Warriors of Chaos, I'm prepping for a tournament now where I'm playing Mortuary Cult, so I've been getting a lot of games in with them. I've played into all three. Yeah, like, Warriors of Chaos is very forgiving, but so is Mortuary Cults. Like, all three are very forgiving when you think about it. The only thing with Bretonia is being mindful of your being slightly more mindful of your movement phase. Really, and that's it. God, I do think Tomb Kings is probably the strongest by a little bit, because the Tomb Kings into Warriors of Chaos matchup, the Warriors really have to just make saves. There's not a lot of strategy in that list. It's like make saves, make Puppet do work, and where Tomb Kings they don't they don't have to play that game. Like, they're not hoping, but yeah. Like, they're so close, though. I think those top three are very close. I think statistically, if you look at new recruit stats, it's like Tomb Kings and Bretts are way better than Warriors of Chaos, but I feel that's doesn't take into account just the skill level of the average player that's making these lists. Because Warriors of Chaos, you can make a really bad Warriors of Chaos list basically by taking Warriors of Chaos and having been to a Hepticon. So many people took Warriors of Chaos and were trying to make those bricks work because they had 50 of them from when they played in 8th edition. And it's just a bad unit, and it's just going to drag you down. So, and
all right,
Forsaken. So.
All right, my boys, that is going to wrap us up for this part 1. Please come over and join us on part 2 at That Old World Charm on Patreon and get that second half goodness. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to talk about how to beat this list, how to beat Mortuary Cults in particular, because it is such a thing for people out there who they feel like there's just no game plan that they have that works with their average army into a competently built and piloted Mortuary Cult list. People just feel like they're just blocked out of playing the game. And we want to contend with that. We want to give people some hope. So come and join us for that hope and the answering of the questions. And gents, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you had a good time too.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to That Old World Charm with those charming chaps, Adam, Danny, and Peter the Falcon. Thanks ever so much. Cheerio.